people won't know that they are using blockchain, but because it's so heavily interconnected with banks.
Are you aware of Drex?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Paul, you were aware of it, but the Central Bank of Brazil is proposing a stablecoin, like a stablecoin and an internal blockchain handled by them.
Today we're doing something different. I'm meeting live with Esteban from Paltalabs at the Style Development Foundation's offices in New York, which are very nice, by the way. Good snacks.
With coffee.
Yeah, good coffee, actually, indeed. I like the syrups. I have a sweet tooth, so I like my coffee sweet. I don't know if you saw me pumping all that caramel in there. It's basically like a hot chocolate at that point. So we're joined by Aellison from Brazil. He's not here with us, unfortunately. I wish you were right there so that we don't have to look at the screen, but it's okay. We did an audit for you guys. It's been about 6 months at this point, I think. So we probably won't remember that much detail about the audit. But I know you're working on new projects, so we'll get into that. We'll get into your relationship with the SDF. But before all that, why don't you introduce yourself and how did you get into crypto is the question I always like asking people.
Yeah. So my name is Esteban. I am Chilean, and I am founder of Paltalabs, Soroswap, and DeFi Index, which is the project we might talk about later. I came into crypto heavily, I will say, heavily during COVID, but I tried with a friend to do some Solidity smart contracts back in the end of 2017. So in the middle of the bull run, we tried to do some things, and when the market crashed, we said we should focus on other things, which was good because we managed to finish our studies. So yeah, it was another moment of our lives. But then I was always interested in decentralization and economy. I did a master's in economics. At the same time, I was finishing electrical engineering. So I was very interested in know how to improve this microgrids with blockchain at that time.
Microgrids?
Yeah, electric microgrids. So you will have producers of electricity, which can be your neighbor. Like, so your neighbor can have solar panels, and you will be the consumer. So the energy doesn't need to go to a centralized part. You don't need to consume the electricity from that machine which is burning oil somewhere. So you will consume it directly from your neighbor.
And it decentralizes the grid so that there's no central point of failure.
Yeah. So for some countries that's very important to have a grid which is decentralized. We just had like the biggest blackout in Chile. So Chile is amazing in terms of infrastructure. We don't usually have blackouts. The last blackout was during a very big earthquake, and we had a blackout like 2 weeks ago.
Like the whole country, or was it?
A very big part of the system. So yeah, I was very interested in like decentralization of the grid and how blockchain could help with that. But then I ended up doing like DeFi.
You were too early with the decentralization
of
electricity.
But when I heavily came back into blockchain, I went back, of course, into Solidity, Avalanche, and all the layer 2s to understand like these new DeFi protocols. So I traveled to several conferences to understand the different ecosystems, like Solana, Breakpoint, Polkadot, Starknet, and Stellar, and I found like an amazing community here, and the vision of providing financial access. I think that was the thing that made me build here.
Okay. And what about the tech stack?
So it was a big challenge because it was in a new language and in a SDK that was under development back in the day. But at the same time, that was the interesting challenge. So I started, and then I started with Soroswap. I saw that there was a need of a exchange, of a decentralized exchange under smart contracts. So I started as a hackathon project, and then thanks to the help of the grants of the Stellar ecosystem, we managed to bring Soroswap into mainnet and partner with audit companies like you.
Runtime
That's where we met.
Yeah.
And Aellison, you were the auditor on that project, right?
Yes, me and Daniel, we audited the Soroswap Aggregator.
So how was the code? How's Esteban's code?
Really good, really good. I had really a easy time. I remember having an easy time reading the code. With regards to the quality itself, we didn't find anything that was... we had some issues of severity, but they were very simple to solve. Like, overall, the quality was very good.
And Aellison, I think you studied in New York State. Do I remember that correctly?
Syracuse. It's about 5 hours away from New York.
I'm sure you've been to New York City before, right?
I haven't.
You haven't? You studied
Yeah.
in Syracuse and you've never been to New York?
I haven't. I wasted my opportunity there, but maybe someday I'll be there again.
Okay, well, I'll show you around if you do make it out here. Although today I acted like I've never been to New York because I parked in a completely wrong part of town and I had to take the train just to get here, which made me like half an hour late. It was awful. But Esteban, it's your first time, right?
Yeah, for me, it's my first time.
What are your impressions of the
It's my
city?
first time in the US, in fact.
First time in the US.
So I was in Puerto Rico, which is,
US territory.
yeah, it's controlled by US.
complicated
situation
down there. I don't.
But yes,
So, what are your impressions of the city?
very big, and apparently there is like a neighborhood for everybody. So there is like more busy neighborhoods, more fancy neighborhoods, more modern, more finance, and other more relaxed. That's what I liked.
Yeah, the city's very big and it is very diverse. I grew up here, so that's why it's interesting for me to ask. Yeah, we definitely used to have like a Polish neighborhood and like a Puerto Rican neighborhood and like a German neighborhood. Like everybody was all over the place. I think some of that has been lost. I think like even Chinatown at this point is barely Chinatown, or like Little Italy is Chinatown now. So it's funny. But yeah, the city's changed a lot. So you're from Chile.
Yeah.
How would you compare like crypto adoption in Chile to like crypto adoption in the US, for example? Because obviously we're very spoiled with our financial services. And I think a lot of people almost treat crypto like a hobby project or something that like is abstract or like theoretical. But a lot of people say that countries that don't have as good of access to financial services, it's a lot more real there.
Yeah. So I will say that in Chile we have the benefit or the lack that institutions and financial services will work really pretty well. If you look at South America, maybe Chile is an outlier in terms of this adoption. So our neighbors in Argentina, the situation with them is a bit different. So I will say that in Argentina, the adoption is much higher, and people are really used to use blockchain and stablecoins that in Chile. In Chile, it's still something that people will think about investments, but now it's changing with all these kind of neobanks wallets that help people to have a bank account in dollars. Mm-hmm. I think people are using more blockchain now.
And what about Brazil?
That's actually one of the questions that I had for Esteban. I was active in the community, the blockchain community, a couple of years ago, but I stepped away a little bit for a while. And back 2 or 3 years ago, I've noticed that there were a lot of projects that were resembling the beginning of crypto in Brazil. A lot of centralized exchanges, a lot of attempts to launch stable coins. But I'm not really aware how is the state of it now, especially because, as Esteban said, Um, in South America, countries here are relatively well digitalized when it comes to money. It's everything is on your phone right now. Nobody, at least in Brazil, it's really hard to find people carrying cash around. So Esteban, I see that from the posts in the Soroswap accounts, you are active in the environment here, in the ecosystem here. What is your perspective in general about crypto usage and teaching crypto in general in South America, and where do you see the situation developing and going in the future?
So yeah, we have been active with the ecosystem and with the community, doing education events at universities in Chile. So the question I answered before was adoption, but in terms of interest, there is a growing interest in Chile with blockchain. Developers are very interested in like what is this new thing and how I can create something on top of it, more than gambling or investing. I think that I am seeing this change, and in Brazil as well. Like the conferences we do, so the events we do in Brazil. By the way, we're hosting a side event during Web Summit in 2 weeks, and there are a lot of developers that comes to this event to know how they can engage, how they can build something, and with this digitalization that Aellison said in Brazil, it's very easy now to do something that you send a bank transaction and then you do like an on-ramp and then you put money on DeFi, which is something I will say that is specifically for Brazil. Brazil has this amazing bank product run by the central bank, where you can plug and play APIs and do fast and instant transactions. It's the PIX fast payment system. So this is something that we need to have in Chile. We don't have a transactions in Chile are fast, but they are not interconnected. It's not that easy to just plug and play an API.
So the central bank of Brazil has API endpoints for transactions.
Yeah,
that's the future.
And they are thinking about launching a CBDC in one blockchain. I don't know. It seems to me that Brazil is also an outlier in terms of like digitalization. The population is very big, so there is a lot of volume.
It gets to the point where some of our banks here, they offer you options to have crypto in your bank accounts. I'm not sure how's the situation in the US or other countries of Latin America, but for example, I can open the app for my bank here and it offers me to buy ETH and Bitcoin. But the thing is, I see that a lot is custodial, so I'm giving away the rights to hold these assets, and therefore I'm wary of it and very keen to try and teach other people about that. I see that PIX, as Esteban was saying, it's an extremely practical way of transferring money and around, and all the banks in Brazil basically adopt them. I can transfer money to anyone. I just have to ask you for example, your cell phone number, and you just tell me. I go to my bank and transfer you an X amount of assets that I want. But this is just a piece of what you can do with blockchain, and I would like to see more projects built using blockchain aspects, not only these traditional bank transfers approach, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, so with PIX and with blockchain, we will see that every company will be able to behave like a fintech. So you have all the tools for that any company can have like a I don't know,
Issue debt or something?
or allow their customers to have like points. So like, how do you say, when you go and buy and you have some points?
Oh, like rewards.
Yeah, some rewards, and these rewards, they will be on blockchain, and then maybe you will invest them in some product that will give you yield, and then you will pay with it using probably the PIX payment. So people won't know that they are using blockchain, but because it's so heavily interconnected with banks.
Are you aware of Drex?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Paul, you were aware of it, but the Central Bank of Brazil is proposing a stablecoin, like a stablecoin and an internal blockchain handled by them. I don't know a lot of the details. I think this is a project that is in development right now, but it will be basically a blockchain that is controlled by the Central Bank of Brazil. So the adoption here is happening, and I feel like at least with some of the use cases that they proposed, for example, using NFTs finally as something that you can attach value to, for example, a car or a building. That's really nice. The discussion becomes just, do you want to give the control of a blockchain to a country? And that's a little bit philosophical. Yeah.
I think it's a good start either way. I always feel like adoption is going to be driven by governments ultimately, right? Because when, like you said, if you can have your car title on chain and it could easily be transferred, that opens so much like real opportunity, right? And it like kind of almost forces people to get a little familiar with the technology and start using it. Otherwise, it's like the same money sloshing around all these different blockchains, and it's like not really penetrating the real world. But once the government starts to open that door, then I think it'll explode in popularity.
Yeah, so as long as the Drex project is interconnected with outside of it,
right,
so that you will be able to, let's say, on-ramp or bridge to it and bridge out from it without so much problems or asking permission, you will be able to choose if you want a decentralized protocol or a centralized bank, and then use Drex for what is supposed to be like buying a car. Probably you will need to bridge into this Drex system, make the payment, you will have the car, your name, and then probably the person that is selling the car will also bridge out. But what is supposed to be centralized, it will be centralized, and then you will choose where to have your money. That's my hope.
That's true. I mean, it has to be interconnected. That's fair. Although, centralization for some things is okay. Obviously, not everything needs to be decentralized. Like, I'll probably feel safer if the government, in a way, was controlling who the deeds of the cars are. I mean, they are now anyway, right? So it's like we're adding interconnectivity to the centralization, which makes it better.
Yeah.
I think if there was a decentralized system and like anybody could just steal a car title on chain and then it's their car and no one could like retrace the steps.
Yeah, we need to agree.
Yeah,
we need to agree as a society which is the correct directory of cars or of buildings.
Anything, pretty much, right? But that's but your record is even like you lose your ID or you want to verify somebody's ID and there's a blockchain access point to do that. That'll be super helpful. But anyway, maybe let's move on to Soroswap. So what's been new at Soroswap Aggregator? Like, what are your goals for the year? What are some metrics you're hoping to hit?
Yeah, so to give like an introduction, at Soroswap, we allow anyone, anywhere to have access to digital assets, right? So we use it through a decentralized exchange and through a exchange aggregator where we can aggregate liquidity on Stellar right now. But this is a product that will help people to have access to these currencies in these digital wallets. So as Aellison said, you will have a bank or a fintech app, and then you want to have access to this specific bond. So we just listed last week this Etherfuse Brazilian Treasury tokenized bond, for example. And we provide the technology and the APIs for wallets to allow their users to have access to this bond. So this is like a background of what is Soroswap. And then this Soroswap Aggregator is a layer on top where we can keep track of all the liquidity available. And we run a optimization problem. We solve an optimization problem, and we provide the wallet of the user the best way to reach this asset at the cheapest price. That's what we do. And the new things and like the next launches is specifically this, what we call like Soroswap Aggregator Swap API.
Yeah, so you're building a new product, right? DeFi Index?
DeFi Index.
So what does DeFi Index do?
So we build DeFi strategies, and we provide what we call DeFi vaults for wallets. So the idea is the wallet they plug and play our system, and they will provide their users the ability to invest in DeFi protocols. That's like the general idea, but then what is a DeFi strategy? It can be like providing liquidity into a lending and borrowing protocol, harvest the rewards, and reinvest in the same protocol. That's like a very basic. Then you can do more crazy things with leverage, or you can have different strategies. So one strategy will be to lend USDC in this specific pool, but then you have different pools, and the wallet managers will be able to move the liquidity from one strategy to the other.
Mm-hmm. So strategies will be made by managers. Are they like permissionless, or
the strategies will be made by strategists. So there will be like only one strategy for a specific use case, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they will be completely permissionless.
Right. So they'll just kind of see the yield and maybe some like risk profile, and then they'll be able to select the vault they want to go.
Yeah. But our product is mainly focused for wallet providers.
Okay.
Of course, we want to serve the crypto native community of Stellar. So in our front end, you will see vaults that specifically built for them. But then you will have a lot of other vaults. Each vault will be for a specific wallet, and they will manage their own vault. They will choose their own fees, right? And another interesting thing is that we will let the vault managers to change their fees, so they can decrease themselves the fee if the protocol is giving less yield. So they will be able to subsidize in a certain way.
Or maybe like charge a fee based on performance.
Yeah, they will be able to charge a fee based on performance. Yeah, thank you. That's a better way to say it. Yeah.
Do you have any questions, Aellison? You might be auditing this at some point in the future, so.
Yeah, and exactly because of that, I'm wondering what exactly is implemented on chain. Is the full concept of the strategy implemented on chain, or is this something that is held by the wallet itself? How does it work?
So everything is on chain. The strategy is on chain. The vaults are on chain. There are smart contracts on chain, and the wallets, they just plug and play, and they offer their users to put their USDC in these vaults. So everything is on chain. But then the wallets will let the user off-ramp to a bank account or use It's very interesting because now we can think about so we can think about a situation where a wallet provider will let their users pre-charge their credit card, but this money will be in a defined vault. And the money in the defined vault will be probably invested in a lending and borrowing protocol. So all the time the person is not using the credit card, the money will generate some yield.
Sounds like the future.
Yeah, I hope we can make this future happen very soon.
Yeah, I think this is the most unique value prop on Stellar is just how easy it is to onboard and offboard. At least that's my feeling. Because even in the US, like I have to go through Coinbase, send this transaction to some L2 or L1, and then just try to like use Ethereum, and it just becomes very confusing very quickly, especially for new users, right? Like somebody told me recently that like all the pain points that were there 4 years ago, like, oh, are you sending to mainnet or are you sending to an L2? Oh, I sent some asset to an L2, but I don't have any ETH to sending transactions after, so now I have to send ETH. And you send ETH to Ethereum network, and it doesn't work on the L2. Like, there's so many pain points that are just need to be abstracted away for the user, and it looks like Stellar's already there.
Yeah,
so
and there are a lot of wallets that are solving this problem of abstracting the thing. We see some wallets that are cross-chain wallets. Multi-chain wallets, but the user, they see only one balance.
Yeah,
That's
how it should be, honestly.
Yeah, and these wallets, they can also implement our product to let their users swap or even invest in a protocol.
So that's a nice segue to my next question, actually. So do you intend to just stay on Soroban, or do you intend to go multi-chain with your products?
Yeah, so that's the idea. So we are here. So we are starting on Stellar because of the vision of providing financial access. So as long as we build on Stellar and we reach the limits of the Stellar liquidity, we will need to bring liquidity from elsewhere, or we will need to touch other protocols in other chains. And as long as the infrastructure is there, we will start growing to other chains.
What's it like to bridge funds without using a centralized entity right now with Stellar?
How is the experience, or which options there are?
Yeah, what options are there? I guess I haven't really tried to bridge. I've only ever, moved funds from a centralized entity into Stellar.
Yeah. So there is a bridge called AllBridge.
AllBridge.
Okay.
I've used AllBridge.
Yeah. And they are very interesting because they can help you. Fund the receiver wallet in the native asset.
Okay.
So then you can use the asset.
So what are some good wallets to use on Stellar? Maybe some wallets you can recommend for someone who's just looking to explore the tools you've built.
Okay, great. So it depends on the use case. So there's a lot of wallets, and each wallet is like serving like different niche in terms of users and in terms of geography as well. So as only crypto native users or crypto savvy users, I would say there is this Friter wallet. It's a browser extension, and I heard they want to build also like a mobile wallet. There is Hana wallet, which is a multi-chain non-custodial wallet, both as an extension and as mobile wallet. Xbull, there is another called Xbull. And for like what we call use case wallets. Use case wallets is that a wallet that serves a specific use case. So they are like this wallet serving digital nomads, or what do you say when someone works online?
Like a freelancer?
Yeah, like freelancers or digital nomads in the world, or probably specifically in South America or Latin America. I am more familiar with the wallets in Latin America, but there are also others serving Africa and other geographies. So in Latin America, there is Meru wallet and Decaf wallet. There is Beans wallet, Vibrant. Yeah.
So it sounds like there's even more options than like what I'm used to, I guess, on other networks.
No, they're great, and each of them has like a specific use case or something great. Like most of them are offering a credit card now, so people will have a credit card. That's to pay like things or buying things online, which is like there is a lot of countries that you couldn't think about doing this with their current institutions, and provide like offering savings account in dollars or other currencies. But we see that half of them are from the US, and then it's kind of spread all over the world. Some in Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America. A bit of Europe as well. Yeah, a lot of the world.
Cool.
Yeah, I see like in Nigeria it has big...
In Nigeria, I think there are no off-ramps, right? Because I think the government is really against.
Yeah. So I think the most complex thing is about stablecoins in Nigeria. So there is an stablecoin issuer in Nigeria called... So the stablecoin is NGNC. The issuer is Link.io. But apparently a lot of people are using directly Link as an off-ramp from USDC.
Just crossed my mind that we actually audited a project that handles microfinance institutions in Africa. It's the ClickPesa debt fund. So they have some a system to basically provide to tokenize and provide banking functionalities to small and medium-sized business in Africa. So I think that there's some good adoption of Stellar in African countries as well. So that might be a reasoning for the traffic that you see as well. Now that we are developing testing tooling for testing and formal verification with Comet, Soroswap, and whatever project you have that is for Stellar, we would love to develop some tests for it as well. Would be fun.
Yeah, so we installed Comet the other day when we had the meeting. So we had a meeting together to have an introduction of the tool, and it's definitely something that we will implement before going to production. Like we want to use all the automatic formal verification or not formal verification tools available.
All right, my most favorite part of the podcast that we do is I always ask people for song recommendations. So I can
Song recommendations. Oh my God. Very good question. Yeah, so there was a question during this. There's a question to break the ice, like ice breaking question during the New York Stellar House that we attended last week. There was Rhye, this like amazing guy from a Stellar Development Foundation. He was asking like, if you were to choose like a song theme that will represent your journey or your block, what you are building, what it would be. I didn't respond to the question, but I was thinking I will choose like a psychedelic rock song, because it's like a long journey. It's like a 10 minutes. The thing about Pink Floyd, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes song, sometimes you really don't know where you're going, but you know that you are going to a cool place, you know? So think about that. Even if I mentioned Pink Floyd, I would recommend Chilean psychedelic rock.
Give me a specific song that I can find.
Put Los Jaivas. Let me see which one.
Spelling.
So, so this one, La Conquistada, is good, but there is like one album.
Okay.
So you need to hear the whole album.
I will listen to it on the way home.
Alturas de Machu Picchu.
You know, I've been asking for recommendations, and I've actually been listening to the songs, and it's been great. I get better recommendations on Spotify.
Pink Floyd vibes?
Yeah. So they even try to do a partnership with Pink Floyd and to play in Machu Picchu in Peru. But then, so there is an interview, and then what happened is that I'm not very familiar with the Pink Floyd members, but the person at Pinflow that they were talking with died, and then they couldn't make it. But this album was recorded in Machu Picchu.
Okay, cool.
So they brought a piano up in the mountain.
So I haven't been to Machu Picchu, but I understand it's a bit of a hike.
Yeah.
And I've carried a piano before, so.
They brought a piano, and there is like this video. So the whole album, there is a movie of the whole album, and it's based on a book written by Pablo Neruda, which is a writer, Chilean writer.
I've been to Pablo Neruda's house before.
Yeah? Okay.
In Valparaiso, I think.
Yeah, in Valparaiso.
Yeah,
Nobel Prize. And he wrote a poem. He wrote some poems of Machu Picchu, and the whole album is based on his poems.
Well, that's
So it has low, not much lyric. It's more like some vibes.
some vibes.
Yeah.
Aellison, what about you? What do you have? You had a lot of time to think about it now, so.
I wasn't expecting the question from me. Well, just a general recommendation or something more with specific meaning.
It doesn't have, whatever you're into. Like maybe let's say you finish up this call and you want to listen to a song just to get yourself in the right mood. What are you going with?
I don't think you know it. I listen to a lot of Sleep Token. It's a metal band. They wear masks and do shenanigans, basically. It's metal. Sleep Token.
Leave token?
Sleep.
Sleep token. Okay, sleep token.
I want to buy that.
What's the song you like?
Alkaline. It's a pretty song. It's a beautiful song.
All right, perfect. Well, then we're almost wrapping up. Maybe one thing we could talk about that we kind of talked about before the call was Meridian in Rio, September 17th to 19th.
Yeah, so 17th to 18th. So that's a good question because it's usually in 3 days.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if it's 2 days this year, but at least the 17th and the 18th.
Nice. Never been to Rio, so excited.
I will be there,
and
and I can bring you.
We'll be there as well, hopefully.
Places.
And do you live in Rio now?
I live in Rio.
Okay.
I live in Rio.
How do you like the city?
Wow, it has so many natural places to go to do hikes.
That's good.
To do some like outdoor sports activities, the beach, of course, and some party as well. But I will, and the climate is nice. If you compare it with Chile, probably. So I don't know, it's just a different climate. Sometimes I miss a bit the cold of Chilean nights. But when you are in Chile during the winter, you might miss the heat of Rio. Or of João Pessoa in the northeast. There is not much winter over there, right?
There's no... Sorry, what?
There is no much winter.
Oh, we don't have winter. It's like a full year of summer here. It just... Sometimes it rains. Yeah. All the time.
I don't like the heat too much. I'm from Central Europe. I grew up with cold winters, cool summers relative to Rio. And like, I don't know, the New York humidity and the heat in the summer I never really liked. So I can't imagine going anywhere like Florida or somewhere where it's like summer all year long and in the summer it's like really hot. I kind of hate it. Because then if it's cold, you can always wear more layers.
Yeah.
But once it gets to a certain level of heat, there's not much else you can do. You can like wear a hat or like put like a wet cloth on your neck or something, but like...
You are part of the winter team.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think Chileans are also winter team. That's what I see. So you don't go to Rio in the summer.
September is gonna be nice though, right?
No, amazing. Yeah,
Okay.
very very good. It's like now, like it's not too hot.
All right, so we'll wrap here. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. Thanks for joining us, Aellison. Always good to see you.
See you
Excited
in
for Brazil.
Copacabana Palace.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the conference is in the most, I don't know. I don't know if it's the most something, but I think yes, it's the oldest 5-star hotel in Rio, at least.
Okay.
It turned 100 years old like 2 years ago, so it's 102 years old. It's in the front of the beach, so maybe you should check already the prices.
Just book
To stay, yeah, to book during Meridian if it's possible. Otherwise, there's so many other hotels like 1 block away that are half the price, so you don't need to stay really there. But yeah, you cross the street and you're in the beach.
Nice.
And it's a very safe place to go Copacabana. So yeah, I'm excited about Meridian this year.
I'll be there.
Yeah. We gotta record a Proofcast in a steakhouse, and a proper Brazilian steakhouse.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
This podcast is for informational purposes only. Views expressed are solely our opinions, not financial advice. Participants may have investments in the projects discussed.